everyone, this is Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. So today's behind the scenes is a little bit different, but maybe not. I wanted to share about my scrapbooking classes. They've always been in my description box, down below, because they were through Big Picture Classes. But Big Picture Classes has shut down, and now I can do what I want with my class material. And I was inspired by my friend Deneen to share them on here, YouTube, and just kind of gauge your guys' interest when I post a series of videos from a class. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of my classes that I feel is the most popular, and I had already a few requests about what am I gonna do with this particular class's material, and I'm going to share it tomorrow. So today is just the introduction to all of my classes. I'm not gonna turn all of them into YouTube content. I'm not sure about that yet. I have 9 total classes on Big Picture Classes. But back to the one that I have already been requested to share, which is my summer album. I took this summer of 2019 and I broke it into different categories to document each month. And it was definitely a huge project, a huge undertaking, but I absolutely love it, and it is still one of my most favorite projects. So on my desk, I have 5 different projects from 5 different classes that I taught. So what I'm gonna do is go over, switch the camera, and then that way I can kind of give you a sneak peek at what each of those projects entails. And then hopefully you guys can leave a comment and let me know what your interest is, and then we can go forward with posting the content. I didn't want to have to start a website or charge for the classes. I figured, I really liked my friend Deneen's idea of just sharing it on YouTube and letting you guys know that if there's any supplemental material, which I don't think there is for most of my classes, that I would give it as a free download. Like, I know one of my classes, I taught you about digital stamping and using digital products, and I provided a template. So I would just give that to you for free, but we'll tackle that when we get there. As far as the summer album, which the material is coming out tomorrow, there really is nothing supplemental that you would miss out on. So over at my desk, I have the summer album. I also have a love stories album, 52 favorites project, which actually took 2 classes because I did one part and then I did the other part, which was finishing up the album. It was a huge, huge undertaking. And then I have 13 stories, which helps you to document all the October type of stories, not just Halloween specific, but month specific. And then I pulled out one of my Project Life albums from 2022, I believe, and I'm going to show you some pages in there because I did a class on Project Life and stamping. So it's a lot of different classes. I'm excited to show you. And again, I'd love your feedback on, your interest and whether you want me to post more of the class material. So let's go to my desk and I'll switch the camera and we will take a look at my different projects. Here are the 5 different albums that I pulled. Like I said, I have 9 classes in total. 2 are for this project, and then one of them I started so long ago, I don't think the videos are available, but it was doing some sketches in traveler's notebooks. So my video quality probably was not the greatest. So let's start with this one. Okay, I have just this one. It is the 13 stories for October, and I walk you through each of the lessons to talk about what each of the chapters are going to be. Again, going back to that concept of chapters, stories, and just trying to break things down into smaller pieces. And having this nice table of contents is really fantastic. And I think for most of this album, I stuck with Tracy Reed. She does printable collections for scrapbooking. And I got my photos printed through Persnickety. And the year, I believe, oh goodness, did I not put the year? I thought I put the year somewhere. The year was 2015. I definitely need to go back and add that, but this is when my kids were really little, and I wanted to start here because I didn't have anything documented from this particular October. So I open up with decorations, and then I just add a 1 simply there. And kind of a random story was weird weather, but I said that category could, I gave some other explanations for what that category could be, but basically it's any weird or unusual spooky story in the month of October. And then I just walk you through, you know, the different categories that I have, like around town, taking a class. I also explain how to do different collages because I use that to help me, you know, get through the pages quicker. I also included a filler page with the Itsy Bitsy song and a great photo of my daughter. And then over here, we did a lot of things in the backyard when the kids were younger. So again, lots of collages, keeping it very simple, but still one of my most favorite projects. Another filler page because I wanted to make sure that things were going specifically where I wanted them to. So this also not only helped to keep the flow, but also allowed me to play more with the die cuts, and I even added some fun little glitter to the bottom of the alphabet letters. Doing arts and crafts, and then of course getting to the Halloween aspects and ending with this page. So I did include the year, I just put it at the end. So that is my 13 stories. So I could definitely share this one in October or start in, you know, September, but I really love it, and it made it so easy to just pull all these photos and get them into a manageable format. Next up was definitely more of a personal class, and I felt very brave doing it and like putting myself out there, but Kelly Noel, she's the one that I worked closely with at Big Picture Classes. She was all for this class, so I really appreciated her support. So this one was called Love Stories, and I documented the story of my husband and I and broke it again into different sections to complete. So I started with the growing up for my husband and also myself, which was really fun. I had not used this Ali Edwards kit, I don't think ever. I think it's the history kit. And so I just came up with a simple design to document different pieces of our childhood. I then moved into, you know, how we met, and since books always call it meet cute, that's what I did. And then I went with the college years. I was going for like a yearbook style page where it's like all over the place, really lots of pieces going on. So that's what I went with, and I pulled some photos that I had in our stash. And so then I just went from there on the next chapter when we got married, having kids, and then I also did, you know, trips, you know, how our story evolved from, you know, just being born to getting married and, you know, then family favorites. And so I talked about various trips that we've gone. So I just pulled from different trips to make a compilation page. And then I also talked about, you know, selfies and what we like as a couple and what we've done so far as a family. And then I talked about our personal hobby together and all of our hiking adventures. So that was really fun to pull this one together. I even added up, as you can see, all the miles that we hiked. So I put here's to the future, and I did some Q&A. And, you know, it was really nice to have my husband participate as well. So that's another class that I could share. I would definitely share it probably in February, but I love it. And like I said, definitely more personal than any of the other classes I had done before. Next up is this Project Life album, and I don't have a lot of the pages out but I just wanted to give you kind of a sneak peek of what I do have, and then you can tell me what your interest is. This class, I used Everyday Explorers. Let me fix the camera. Okay, I used Everyday Explorers. I think I used some Ali Edwards, but mainly Everyday Explorers to talk about making your own stamped project life cards and using stamping only stamping to complete various pages. So this was an end page for May, a start page for June, and all I used was stamps. And then over here for 4th of July, I did the same thing. I just pulled together a bunch of stamps to make all of my different cards. This one, I showed you one of my favorite techniques, which was to use cardstock and stamp on the cardstock to kind of make your own faux pretend pattern paper. So I did a family time card here, a really fun shaped card there, and here as well. And then over here, I showed you a really fun technique with this pumpkin stamp and using Post-it notes. So that was a really fun class to put together because if you've been around here a while, you know that I love stamps. Okay, this next project is one of my favorites. It's tied with the summer album, definitely tied. And the reason I didn't attempt to do this project again in 2025 is because honestly, I was like, how am I going to explain this to people or share it on YouTube if the material is really supposed to be paid material on big picture classes? So I will be doing this project in 2026 and I'm very, very excited. So what I did is this is a half sized binder, 5.5 by 8.5. And I was able to fit an entire year's worth of memories. And what I did is I have an opening page for 52 favorites, and then I made a calendar for each section. So I think there's 3 sections because there's 4 months in each section. And then that way I could do what is going on for each of the weeks and just jot down a note. And every single one of these is neutral. So you can see here, this is neutral as well. And the last one is neutral as well. So fabulous pages, and again, using themed stamps to kind of kick off each section. Then what I did is I explained to you guys how I picked, I think, 6 total designs to use throughout the entire album. And so I went to week 1 and I picked favorite photos, and if I had a lot, I would go with a grid. If I just had a few, I would do horizontal. And I used all Ali Edwards products, and again, this is such a special project. Some of them you would have to pull out, like this one. You could pull out it and then flip it up and you see the journaling and also the photo, another photo. So I cover the entire year and all kinds of wonderful stories, like my son going to freshman orientation. This one was amazing to put together, all about week in the life and just bringing those screenshots of my edited photos together. Summertime, very simple, but again, using my various products and documenting all the family stories, and just another way to not only, like I said, use up your supplies, but kind of do a project lifestyle page. So this is 42 and October Magic. And then we move into the holidays. I went all out with the stamping there. This is when we went to a water park. And for this one, it is week 51, but I didn't put it because I think I put it on the inside. Yes, I put it on the inside, but I did a really special insert because, like I said, I kept this very simple, but for this one, I wanted to go all out. So you flip it up and then there's a ton of photos there. Ending with 52, going to the movies. So in this class, like I said, it would be 2 parts. So I would probably release one part maybe in December and then the next part in January. That way you wouldn't get overwhelmed with all the content, but it is an amazing project and relatively simple if you just start it at the beginning of the year. So let me know again if you want to see this. At least is my summer project, and I think I do need to reprint this because it was supposed to include all of the various stories that I had for the entire summer. But you open up with this chapter heading, and then you turn the page and there's an opening photo and then June. And I did laminated tabs, and so this is kind of the chapter start, or the part, because there's like part 1, part 2, and part 3. So part 1 is all about June, and you turn it and then you have the tabs here. So we start with adventures, then lots of adventures, water, works. And now this one I did for a Feed Your Craft project, and since I had been using all Ali Edwards, I decided not to destroy this project and redo it, but go ahead and keep it. So parks, friends, books, family, and then local. And I just went through all of those sections, and then if I didn't have photos, I just moved on. So then we have July, adventures again, lots of adventures, bringing together pages about friends, and I don't know why this one's coming apart. I will just staple it. So friends, sometimes I put a photo here, but sometimes I did not. Local, we went to the library, so I just put that in the book section, and then a nice big photo of our book haul. August is always a shorter section because halfway through August we go back to school, but I still had a really great section here. So starting off with a family photo, adventures, more adventures, friends, and then finishing up with this page about the local, and then having a quote there. So really fantastic album, and I'm so happy that I put this together and I took the time to put it together, just like with all the other projects, because most of these are very special and unique type of projects. So that was a little introduction to each of the projects, and tomorrow I will have the videos for the summer project. I think you guys will really love it. It is a fantastic format for documenting a huge summer. If I had more time, I would definitely do that project again. I think it's amazing, and I wish I could do it again, and maybe I will someday. Digital format, who knows? But I love that format for summer documenting, especially since my kids were so young and we were doing so much. All right, I hope you guys have enjoyed this behind the scenes video and learning all about my scrapbooking classes. I would love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you are new to my channel. Have a great day. Bye.